welcome to or welcome back to my channel So Little Time, and my name is Karen. So finally the day has arrived that the boys have now returned to school. Yay! I'm so happy for them and for me. I really did need them to go back, you know, as it was really starting to take its toll, and I think their attention span just started to really go downhill on the last few weeks. So we've had a lot of tears and upset and tantrums and arguments. Yeah, it's just not been great. So I'm really happy for them that they have returned to school, and they were so excited. They have gone back with absolutely no problem, you know, no upset or anything. So yeah, I think they're really just keen to see their teacher and their friends and just get back into some kind of routine. Yeah, so today's video then I've been meaning to bring to you for quite a while. It's one that I would usually upload at the beginning of the year, but obviously because of the homeschooling I haven't done so. So today I'm going to be sharing with you my 5 favourite makes from 2020. And I'm not going to be showing these on me, what I'll do is link cards up above as I go through the garments so you can see them in the videos where I've actually showed them previously, as I will have gone into a lot more detail on those videos, but I just thought I'd show you my most favourite ones that I made out of everything that I made last year. And I did do a little tally of how many things I made last year, and it wasn't as much as the previous year. But yes, I did make quite a few, not everything for myself, but I think I made about 30 items, so 10 less than the year before, I believe. So that's still good going, considering it was lockdown and I had the children at home, you know, 80% of the time really. So the first one I'm going to show you is a top, and I'll show you the pattern itself first. It's this New Look pattern, and it is K6434. And you would have seen that I showed this on my previous vlog because I am planning to make another. So this is the version that I made. It's got this lovely sort of fluted sleeve detail there, and it's quite a boxy shape. So I made it in a very lightweight cotton that a friend gave to me in this lovely green colourway with orange little ditzy florals on. And you can see here it has a bias bound neckline, and then here are the sleeves with the fluted edge, and I really do like that. With this lightweight cotton they do drape quite nicely, and it's very light and airy to wear, so perfect for the summer months. It's got bust darts, and they sit in the right place now because I did actually have to lower them. They were quite high, and I also A-lined the bottom of the top itself just slightly so it goes over my hips a lot better. I really like this top more than I thought I was going to, and actually I used this fabric that my friend gave me as sort of my toile version of it, just to see how the fit was. And I knew that it was going to be too tight around my hips because it is quite a straight pattern. Obviously I'm very pear-shaped, so I just A-lined it very slightly, and I wore this a lot. It goes with jeans, trousers, skirts, you know, a lot of things. It would look actually quite nice under a dungaree dress as well, I think, and I usually tuck it into tights, you know, if I wear it underneath a dress like that. But yeah, it's just such a versatile top, and I really did wear that a lot last year, so that was one of my most favourite makes. Now the sizing for this goes from a size 10 up to a size 22, and the bust for the size 10 is 32.5, and that's 44.5 inches for the size 22, a waist of 25 and a waist of 37, hips of 34.5 and hips of 46. So I made the size 12, and that is for a bust of 34, which matches my bust measurement. But the waist and the hips are a lot smaller than what I am, so hence me A-lining it out. But it has got quite a little bit of ease in the pattern around the waist, so I knew that it would fit okay around that area. So yes, I'm really happy with that, and I'm planning to make another one with some fabric that Felicity Fabrics sent me as part of my Christmas present from them. So the next make I'm going to show you, I haven't actually got the pattern because I can't for the life of me find it anywhere. I've got it out because I am making the Pinafore version of this, so I've got it somewhere and I just can't find it. But it's the Camden skirt, and I made it in this lovely denim fabric which I got from Guthrie Ghani, and it's just a lovely weight denim. I'm not 100% sure what the weight is. I'd say probably a good 10 to 12 ounce weight in that, because it really does have quite a nice, you know, structured weight to it. I think there is a little bit of stretch in this, so it does make it extra comfortable. It's a lovely skirt. It does come as a pinafore as well in the pattern, and they are both fully lined. And I wore this such a lot with this top and I also wear it with my Agnes tops, and it just really, really does feel nice to wear. It's a kind of a high-waisted skirt, so it does have a 70s vibe to it, and these lovely patch pockets on the front. And I really do like those. You make them up before you attach them onto the skirt, so you're able to top stitch around the pockets before they're attached onto the skirt, which makes it really nice to do because you're just using a small piece of fabric. Like I said, it's fully lined, so I'll show you the lining. I've got this lovely purple lining inside. It isn't attached at the bottom, they are just separate, and I've used bias binding on both just to add that little bit of extra weight. And I found that even though the lining isn't attached into the bottom of the hem of the skirt, it doesn't reeve up or twist whilst you're walking, which is really great. It has a faced waistband, and I just used some cotton poplin fabric that I had for another project, and I did that on the inside of the pocket as well, so that does match. And this skirt got a lot of wear last year. It's really, really comfortable, and as it's high-waisted, it really does go nicely with that blouse, which I tuck in, also my Agnes tops, which I also tuck in, and I wore it with a wrap top, which was the peppermint wrap top that you can get for free off the Peppermint magazine website, and that really goes nicely because this is high-waisted and the peppermint wrap top is quite shortish kind of top, and so it just sits really nicely together. So that I really, really did enjoy wearing, and I am now making the Pinafore version as well. So next up is the Tilly and the Buttons Rosa shirt dress. So this is the pattern here, and you can make it in a shirt and a dress version. And I always wanted to make this. I've had this pattern for quite a while. I just hadn't got round to making it for quite a while. It's got lovely details, lovely piping that you can add here if you like, or just some nice decorative top stitching. Yeah, and it's got a nice yoke detail on the back as well. So I made the dress version, and this was actually for a blog post for Bobbins Buttons, and I used this gorgeous Lady McElroy fine needle cord fabric, which was kindly gifted to me from Julia at Bobbins Buttons in return for the blog post. Yeah, so it's really, really lovely and soft and quite a drapey and lightweight fabric. So it probably wouldn't have been the best choice for a shirt dress of this style, but what I've actually done, as you can see here, is I've interlined it, and that was just to add that little bit of extra weight to the fabric itself, and also if I wear tights with it, it's not going to stick to my legs, and I do interline quite a lot of my clothes where necessary. So you will have seen me talk about that before. And if you're new to my channel and not really sure what interlining is, it is literally where you cut out the lining pieces again in the pattern pieces, and then you baste the wrong sides together against the outside fabric and then treat those pieces as one piece. I hope that makes sense anyway. And I love this collar detail, and I just use a nice contrast fabric on the inside of the collar stand and underneath the collar. And that was actually an old curtain, so it does have quite a bit of weight to that, so I didn't interface those pieces. There are quite a lot of panels on this dress, but it is really, really nice to make up, as long as you sort of label your panels so you know which is the front and which is the back and which goes with which, because I think I did make one error by sewing one back to the front piece and it wasn't quite lining up, and I realised my mistake. I did top stitch down the sides of each of the seams, but I didn't use a top stitching thread. I just literally used a contrast Gutermann thread that I already had. And I also opted not to put buttons and buttonholes on this. That was purely for ease, and I do quite like these snaps that I have added on there, and they're like a forest green colour, so I just think they camouflage in fairly well with this very busy print. Now you will notice that I have done this sleeveless, and the pattern doesn't actually come sleeveless, it does have sleeves on it. And I was going to add the sleeves to the point that I'd actually cut out the sleeves, but I didn't end up adding them because whilst I was trying it on during the construction process, I really did quite like how it looked sleeveless. And because this is a really busy print, I just thought that it might have been a little bit too much with the sleeves. So I'm really pleased that I did that. I didn't take anything off the arms for that. I just literally added bias binding on the inside of there, as you can see. And I would have gone with a much lighter lining colour. I just ordered the wrong colour. I think we were probably in the lockdown again at that point, so I couldn't go to a shop, and seeing the colours on screen isn't always the best. But yes, this got a lot of wear, and I really do like wearing that with my denim jacket. It just looked really nice. It's just very comfortable to wear, and it is quite a roomy dress. So the sizing for this goes from a size 1, which is a UK 6, through to an 8, which is a UK 20. So it's not as variated in size as some of Tilly's newer patterns. So the bust for the size 6 is 30 inches, the waist is 24 inches, and the hips are 33 inches. And the 8, which is a UK 20, is 44-inch bust, 38-inch waist, and a 47-inch hip. Now, I usually go with a size 4 for Tilly's woven patterns unless they have a lot of ease. And this pattern does have quite a bit of ease in it. So I went with a size 3, and that fitted me just fine. And I really do like that dress, so I'm going to be wearing it quite a lot again this year. So next up is the Ivy Pinafore by Jennifer Lauren Handmade, and this is the pattern here, and you can see there are 2 variations. There's one that's much more sort of free flowing, and this one that is a much more of a fitted silhouette, and that's the one I've gone for. I made this for the Felicity Fabrics blog, so there is a blog all about this pattern on their website, and they sent me the fabric in return for the blog. It's a lovely needle cord again, as you can see here. Please do excuse the creases. I haven't pressed it. I've just taken it out of my wardrobe, and I've got so many clothes in there, they do get a bit squashed. But I will have to give it a press before I next wear it. But hopefully you can see that it's a lovely fine needle cord fabric with these lovely glittery stars all over it. And the stars really do glitter in the sunshine really nicely when you're wearing it. It's another fully lined pinafore dress. And I did find that quite difficult to do, as this lining fabric was extra slippy. So what I did do, and as a tip for you if you ever find this, is I actually used some spray starch just to sort of stiffen it up slightly, so it wasn't such a nightmare to work with, and that really did help. So this has got a lovely yoke detail on this dress. That was a little bit of a fiddle to put in, but I think if you used maybe a denim fabric or a canvas fabric, which would be totally suitable for this style of dress, it would be a lot easier. It's just that this was a little bit soft, and I ran out of interfacing as well, so it's not actually interfaced as it should be. I opted to put snaps on there. It does ask you to use buttons and buttonholes, but you know, it's your preference at the end of the day. And I also ran out of fabric and had to put a seam in the centre back here on the yoke, but it isn't actually that noticeable when you're wearing it. It's a lovely A-line shape, and it comes down to just above my knees, and again the lining is completely separate to the dress, and it doesn't twist or reeve up when you're wearing it either, which is really nice. It's quite a roomy dress where it is A-line, so it skims over my hips really, really nicely. Now the back centre seam, it does have a very slight curve in it, and that is really nice because it actually then goes into your back quite nicely, and I've got a slight sway back, so it does fit into that section of my back really nicely. Yes, so this dress again got a lot of wear in the summer last year. I like to wear it with an Agnes top underneath it, and I also wear it with just a bra underneath, you know, and just bare arms in the warmer sort of months, and it just still looks really nice because it's got bust darts. It's much more fitted around that area rather than sort of a standard dungaree or other pinafore style dress that you may come across. Yeah, so it's just a really, really nice make. I have got plans to make another one as well this year. Now the sizing for that, it comes from a size 6 through to a size 24, and the bust for the 6 is a 31-inch and the waist is a 24-inch, hips 35-inch. For the size 24, it's a 48 3/4 inch for the bust, 42 inch for the waist, and 53 inches for the hip. I initially cut out a size 8, I think. When I looked at the finished garment measurements, I thought that would fit me quite well, and I made a very basic toile and it seemed to be okay. But actually, when I made it up and added the yoke on, etc., I didn't take that into account, how it gathers into the yoke. It came up a lot smaller around my bust, so I ended up making the size 10, and that fits absolutely perfect with a lot of room, so you can fit, you know, tops underneath it and that kind of thing, which is why I ended up having to put a seam line down the back of that yoke because I near enough ran out of fabric because I ended up making 2 dresses in essence. Yeah, so a really nice pattern, and one that I will be repeating again this year. Okay, so my final make then is the Tilling the Buttons Indigo dress. And I absolutely love this pattern so much. It was a joy to make, and I just wore this dress so much. It was probably one of my most worn garments last year. And I remember I actually cut this dress out and I just left it for ages before sewing it up, and I was really kicking myself that I hadn't got round to sewing it up, because when I made it I was just overjoyed with how it fit on me, and how it made me feel as well. I felt really happy, and I think half of that is to do with the fabric. So I made the dress version. Now it comes in a tunic version, which is on the front here, and there is a dress version, and there is options to have fluted sleeves or straight sleeves, or you can have an exposed ruffle frill around your waist and also on the sleeves as well, or just a gathered waist. So there are lots of areas to play with this, with your fabrics and that kind of thing. Now this comes in sizes 1 UK 6 through to size 10 UK 24. So the bust for a UK 6 is 30 inches, the waist is 24 inches and the hip is 33 inches. And for the UK 24, it's a 48-inch bust, 42-inch waist and a 51-inch hip. So there is quite a lot of ease in this pattern, so for that reason I sized down to the size 3, and I'll just show you the dress now. I absolutely love it. This fabric I got from John Lewis quite a long time ago now. It's a lovely drapey crepe fabric, and it's got a really nice texture to it. It's got absolutely no stretch in this whatsoever, and I made the version with the exposed ruffle frill there. And then just the straight bracelet sort of length sleeves, and it just comes down to above my knee, and I really like where that sits. It is really very generous around this sort of empire waist area, and it is slightly risen at the front and lower at the back. So I made the dress up initially as per the instructions and didn't make any changes to it, and then I tried it on and just found that it was a little bit too loose around my waist area, so I decided to add some waist ties, but that was an afterthought after trying it on. So I actually did have to open up the side seams to add these waist ties in, and I just really like that because it just brings it in and cinches it in a lot better for me, and I really like how that looks. It's a lovely fabric. It really does work really well for this pattern. It's really nice and drapey, really lightweight, so it was perfect for wearing in the summer last year, and I did wear it ever such a lot, and it just comes together really nicely. And I have to say, the exposed ruffle isn't too difficult to do with the right type of fabric. This fabric was really nice to sew with, and it really did behave when I was sewing it, so it was really easy to do. I can imagine if you were using a much more sort of drapier viscose and it was a lot more slippy, that it might be quite difficult. And I am going to be making a few more versions of this pattern this year, and I might just do the gathered waist version if there are any fabrics that I struggle with, but I do really like that exposed ruffle. I think that's really pretty. Yeah, so this was my #1 favourite make of last year. I just absolutely love it. I love the fabric, and I think that's one of the main reasons, but also I just love the style of dress. It just really suits me, and I wore it so much. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be making a lot more, and I just love the way it makes me feel actually. And I think that's one of the things, isn't it? If you've got a garment that you've just found makes you feel really good, then it is definitely going to be a favourite in your wardrobe. So that's my favourite 5 patterns then from last year. I hope you like my selection, and as I've been talking through them I will have inserted those cards so you can take a more detailed view at them in my previous vlogs. So thank you very much for watching today. Please do like this video if you enjoyed the content, and subscribe if you've not done so already. That would be lovely. Thank you very much, and I shall see you again soon. Bye!